Good morning and welcome to Cheche, the show where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV. I'm your host, Udwak Amimo. Governor Cornel Rasanga of Siaya County is today's guest. Siaya has been home to political intrigue, and last month the governor had to leave an event after a rather hostile reception. We'll get to the bottom of all that and more. But also with us in the studio we have David Makali, but Teginja, as you know, is on leave, and so we have Wawerumburu sitting in for him. Good morning and welcome to the show. Before we get to the nitty-gritty of politics and development in Siaya, you've been angling to host the U.S. president when he comes into the country. How's that going?
Yeah, we are still upbeat with it. We had appointed a committee to look into it, and the committee has been working around the clock. And last week we launched an event that meant that it is not just the day, but preparation towards the coming of Obama is eventful and is taken well by the public. So we organized cultural events around that, which are currently going on. We have Obama 7 Rugby Club that also is doing its rounds. Then we have also a marathon around Lake Kanyaboli that will be taking place, all aimed at a preparation for Obama coming.
So whether or not Obama actually arrives in Siaya, these Obama-themed events will take place?
All these things are taking place before his arrival.
Okay.
Yes.
So given that you want to host him and that you've been facing hostility in Siaya, is it really the right place for him to go, given the political intrigues there?
No, that was just a small section of Siaya.
Right.
Siaya is too big. That was just a small section of Siaya, and it was not that hostility that was blown out of proportion.
Blown out of proportion?
It was a small thing, yes. It was
really?
A small thing.
We saw chairs flying. This was last month. You had gone to Yala, I believe.
Yes, it was one chair flying.
One chair?
Yes.
But what was the context of it? Seems to be that that particular area has a few issues that you haven't sorted out.
Not really.
That have to do...
Not really. I have got very good support in the area. The people who are doing this were mainly people imported from Kisumu, the so-called China squad. Yeah. Just to disrupt the rally that I was going to have.
So you would say then that your relationship, you're a popular governor, and your relationship with other elected areas, leaders in the area...
I'm a governor that has been elected twice in this country. There is no other governor that has ever been subjected to 2 elections.
But if we go into the context of that, because you're talking about the by-election, you won the election the first time around.
Yes.
There were, problems with that, and you went into a by-election. But if we go back right to the drawing board, the ODM nominations, you were third, weren't you?
No. No. I was given a direct nomination.
You were given a direct nomination,
yes.
But wasn't that problematic? You weren't necessarily popular. There were people that were trying to keep out.
It could have been problematic. The most important thing is that ODM's constitution stipulates that they can make a direct nomination. So I benefited from that.
So do you think that is what is haunting you now?
It's nothing to do with that, because if you look at the 2 elections, the people who went into the ballot spoke volumes.
Did they vote for you or against the candidate they thought?
No, they voted for me.
Was not ODM?
No, they voted for Rasanga.
In fact, I think the governor is being a little guarded and, to put it mildly, a bit defensive. Because really, true that you're the only governor who has faced election twice and been elected, but also your circumstances are, make you a beneficiary of the party benevolence, so to speak, because you are the compromise candidate. Because the candidates who are fighting it out were eliminated, which was Dual and Oburu, so that you can
get it rightly.
A compromise candidate, as it were.
Get it rightly. I previously was a civil servant. I resigned to contest for governorship in the ODM party.
Yeah.
So I ran campaigning, and as ODM family, we sat down, and the proposal was that we give a chance to Dr. Buru, being an old man, right? And I was supposed to be his running mate.
That's right.
Yes, so when this time round it came that I was nominated, it was not by accident.
But it is in fact Dr. Buru who nominated you to sit in as a...
No, the party. It is the party who nominated me. Buru is not a party.
Let's go to the chairs, whether 1 or 10. Did you want to know why even that one individual would want to throw a chair at you?
This must have been organized by the MCA for the area. Yes.
Why?
What is the issue?
Yes.
Because really a governor coming to a place and the MCA causing a rebellion, maybe you enlighten us a little and viewers exactly what is the issue in that particular area that would lead anyone to import, as you have alleged.
You see, there had been some tantrums, I would call them, from the area MP, who is supported by the MCA, and there's
the area MP being Jakayo Midiwo.
Yes, and there was a time I had hosted former councillors as a governor of Siaya, former councillors from the entire game constituency, and the MCA for the area was bitter. How could I host the former councillors? That was the beginning of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in terms of your popularity, you say that you're well liked. But if we go back to, and David, you'll remember this, the County Track Index, which measures performance of leaders. Your elected leaders in Siaya are doing much better than you are. Your MCAs in Siaya were ranked number 2. Your women reps were ranked number 6. Your senator was ranked 11. And you come in at 23. So there does seem to be a problem with how you are relating with your public in Siaya, isn't there?
Not really. Whoever is doing that ranking...
This was InfoTrack.
I don't know the whatever, but as far as I'm concerned, I am very much popular on the ground.
Well, InfoTrack told us that, InfoTrack told us that they went around the counties speaking to leaders such as yourself, and they were measuring both popularity, the perception of how you had performed across the devolved functions. And for that, Siaya comes in at 22. Are you saying that at no point were you aware of the fact that this was happening?
This is, if Siaya is coming number 22, it is 22
out of 47.
Of 47, and it is 22 overall in many other things, which cannot measure with Orengo as number 6 in what? You cannot compare the 3.
Fine, so if we come back to you though, you were 23.
Whatever is, there is no relationship there.
Fine, so let's come back to you then. Rasanga 23, Orengo 11. What's happening there?
No, but they are not comparable, because the indices for comparison
for senator
should be the same.
Different.
Yeah, they should be the same.
But Governor, what is it that you have done for the people of Siaya that would make you popular? Can you tell us, tell us main things, 5 of them that you have done for the people of Siaya?
When I started working in Siaya, my first preoccupation was to make sure that the county became food secure. For a long time, Siaya has been a beneficiary of food imports from across Rift Valley, and therefore food security was number 1. Now, what did I do in order to increase food production. I indeed saw that the most important thing is to mechanize agriculture. So we bought 7 tractors in addition to some 6 tractors that had been there. So that was a total of 13. And I went out to hire others from as far as Kitale, so that the total number of tractors in the county at that particular time were about 35 tractors on hire at subsidized rates for the farmers. We were charging 1,200 per acre, and the local market price then was about 3,600. That stimulated production, and to date, as we speak in Siaya, the prices of maize, which is a staple food for Siaya people, stabilized and never went beyond Kenya shilling 70 a goro. You know what goro?
Yes, small tin.
A 2-kilogram tin.
Yes.
And so it therefore means that as far as that initiative is concerned, there is
people have enough food.
People have enough food as we speak, right?
Yes.
And we are right now we are expecting to have even a bumper harvest because that initiative was even further increased. So last year we more or less got about 130,000 metric tons of grain. This time round we are expecting to have about 185,000 metric tons.
Okay, let me give you some feedback on that from your social audit scorecard that came out in November of last year. The governor and his government scored slightly better in this sector as respondents appreciated the attempt at improving access to plowing tractors and seeds for the county to increase the acreage of land under cultivation during the planting season. It was appreciated that the county government hired some tractors which were to be paid for at a lower than the market rate. They, however, complained that the program was not well managed, as one could book and queue for long and eventually give up and hire other private tractors. Some respondents said that seeds were also fake.
Well, that was the first time that we were introducing the concept, the program.
So what are you doing in order to mitigate
the
that?
The second year running, that has improved greatly, and that is why we are expecting to have even more harvest as a result of that initiative. Okay,
so food security, what's the second thing that you've done?
The second thing that we've done is accessibility. We have made about 870 kilometers of roads, opening up of roads within the county, so that we targeted primary schools which were otherwise inaccessible, markets which were otherwise inaccessible, dispensaries, and health.
Let's stay with roads, because that was part of the plan. It was a flagship project under Vision 2030. And again, the feedback is that respondents expressed appreciation, but they say that the work was very poor. Most of them did not have culverts and so posed a grave danger to users. Some roads were plowed from both ends while the middle was left, as if to give the impression that the work was completed, which could be a sign of corruption.
No, that is the time they were doing the survey,
right,
is when we were starting to do the roads. And thereafter the roads were made. But again, remember, it was for opening up of roads. Maintenance would come later, right? Yes.
So if we were to go back to Siaya now and look at these roads that were the basis of this audit, they would be in perfect condition?
Not really.
Well, in fact, there is quite a big of a problem with the roads. Roads which have been announced to be done, but they have got grass, vegetation, the quality and the completion of these roads. You're aware that there is an issue.
I want even the Siaya people to get that very well, that the amount of money that was allocated for roads was mainly for opening roads. Opening means that you have to use the bulldozer, right, to open up, but you don't put the culverts, right? you don't do the grading, and then later on we'll be doing the maraming and all that. So we are in the process of doing that.
It means that there is a disconnect between you and the people that you are serving, because when you are carrying out any project on the ground, the people should be able to understand, or should understand exactly what their government is doing for them, so that they are also patient and bear with you as you look for those funds.
It is just that the expectations of the people are very high, so that when they see that a road is opened, isn't it, they would like to have it to be seen as gravel as well at the same time.
But interestingly enough, the feedback from both reports was that you are not very good at communicating with the public in Siaya, and so there was a sense that the people of Siaya did not know what you were doing for them. They did not know what the expectations were, and they had no sense of the communication between yourselves and them was not very effective.
It takes time to communicate. A year's program, you need to communicate after completion, isn't it? Now you remember after the by-election that I went into.
And to be fair to you,
yes, I had to start
again
doing my work late in the year, and the amount of money that I used for development was only 300 million in that particular year.
But what we are talking about is not only communication, which you are saying, and I agree with you that it may take time, but we are talking of public participation. Even as you are budgeting and the projects that are supposed to be tackled, how is your government? How is your
government? The budgetary processes
the people
took place as provided for in the law, in the sense that before budgeting takes place, the people are informed. Officials from our office go and talk to the people about the projects that they would like to have, including those roads that we have mentioned, and therefore we have even instituted something that is not normal, but a participatory process, which is that we hold a forum for people to come to our offices, so that they see for themselves what we do, right? We explain to them the processes that we undertake to deliver to them the service.
So that was in response to this feedback which Waweru picked up on. The governor was seen by several respondents in several groups to be poor in communication and poor in personal public relations. On probing, it was observed that he's not briefing the public so that residents can understand his plans and programs and to own them.
Let me put it very clear. This social audit was carried out
in November of 2014.
Yes, by a body that was consisting of my opponents, Siaya Development Forum, the chairman, the secretary, and all that. And later on, we had to sit down, and I talked to them that, number one, if you are to do an audit, the most important thing that you need to do is, once you have carried out the audit, we really need to share that audit. So some of the things that you are reading them out of what they did, and they did them behind my back without me knowing.
Is that true? Because in the acknowledgements they say that they met you and that you welcomed
social audit that was carried out by Siaya Development Forum. That is what I'm trying to talk about.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
They say that they met you and you welcomed this report and you welcomed the feedback
they met me before they carried out the audit.
And so they did not share the feedback with you?
No, they didn't do that.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
They didn't do that.
So given
and
that
I welcomed them thereafter. We had a sitting together, and we said, okay, this is a very important thing to me, because I cannot be knowing what is behind my back.
Yes, actually
you should be seeing whatever is happening behind my back for me, and therefore next time when you are doing it, please engage me once you have gone through the process.
Okay. So while this information is out there, we're 2 years into devolution. Will you be meeting them, given that you aren't doing so well in terms of your ratings, to see where you can improve?
I'm doing well. The ratings might not be reflective of the exact thing on the ground. But I remember there are two things. One, I've told you, the first year, that lapse
you had a late start,
isn't it?
Yeah. So,
and that social audit took place when? Look at it. Look at it. It never gave me time, isn't it?
But the question is whether it's not whether the governor is doing well, it's whether the people of Siaya are doing well. And that's where we need to address ourselves to.
Well, people of Siaya doing well, it would be perception, isn't it? Because
and the perception is that
unless you go down, because I'm telling you, there is food on the table.
Yeah. So you've talked about food, you've talked about roads. What else have you done?
We have also provided solar power to almost all markets that are in Siaya, so that the old woman who used to count her money
in darkness,
right, using lantern or candle, is capable of doing it, and they are doing business up to around 10 in the night.
David, you wanted to come in?
Well, on that matter of consultations, I'm sure, Governor, you appreciate that there are issues being raised around your how you're governing and your consultation mechanisms, which are being seen to be inadequate or non-existent, to be precise. So much so that you look at the other elected leaders in the county. Let's look at the members of parliament. A lot of them seem to be having differences with you, and arising from that matter of the governor does not consult, and when you seek him out, his perception is that you want him to give you a contract or a tender or something like that.
Not really.
Rather than involve them in the development of the county.
Consultations is two-way. It is not one-way, isn't it?
Right.
An MP is elected, governor is elected,
okay,
and I have invited the MPs to a table more than 2 times, right? How else would you consult, especially if they don't come?
Why? So let's rephrase the question. You have 6 MPs in Siaya. You have already talked about having fraught relations of one, Jakaya Mideo, because you say that you think he was, or one of his supporters was behind the chair throwing incident. You have 5 others. How is your relationship with them?
The relationship is good. I would say it is good.
Which is why they don't come to your meetings?
Actually,
no, but when
from what I gather, Governor,
yes,
you have a good relationship with only 2 of the 9 members of parliament, who is the Ugunja MP, Pio Andai, and Buru Odinga, who is the nominated member of parliament. The rest of the elected leaders are not with you.
Where are you placing Ombaka? And Ombaka was in my office even last week. What kind of relationship would to be?
That is my information. It could be wrong.
Ochanda, we are in talking terms. We are very right with Ochanda too. Yes? Yeah.
I think the issue here... You have good relations with the elected leaders. There are no fights and there is no conflict going on.
That is normal. Conflict would be normal in politics. You cannot avoid that. But as far as I'm concerned,
yes,
I am in control. We are consulting to the level that is necessary, right? Especially with the MCAs that are supposed to be consulting with me on basis.
Wasn't that born out of necessity? Because they did at one point want to impeach you. Your relationship with them, really?
Yeah.
Well, but including, in fact, there was an incident with those MCAs where you had to, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had to give them some money.
No.
Put money in their accounts.
There is nothing like that. You know
what happened? Some money was found in their accounts.
Let me explain. You know, there are certain circumstances when the assembly has no money.
Right.
They would ask the executive to give them money when they are going to do their official functions. And that is precisely what I did when I was asked.
So you gave them money?
A contribution or what?
No, I facilitated.
From which votehead?
From my own vote. From the executive.
Is there a vote that facilitates MCAs when they don't have resources or revenue or salary?
Not revenue. Not salary. They were going out, and they asked me to help them, right, in paying for their per diem, right? Just that.
What was this emergency that they were going for? That they needed to borrow money so that they could attend?
They didn't borrow money. They were given money.
They were given money.
Yeah, they were given money. Yeah. They were given money, but as a result of them requesting for it.
So where did this money come from?
From the executive.
But the executive has a budget.
Yes, from the budgeted funds of the executive.
Money they were supposed to return?
No.
Doesn't that sound interesting?
Why?
And funny. By the way, it's funny.
No, you see, it is that.
How independent would this assembly be?
Let me
if they are being funded by
the executive. Let me explain. If my executive are supposed to do ABCD, right, and they don't do ABCD, and instead it is the assembly that does whatever it is doing, it is my prerogative, right, to make the county function. And therefore, when I made the decision to facilitate the assembly, there's nothing wrong with that.
That included the trip to Kampala.
The trip to Kampala?
That is the one you're talking about.
No, that's a different one.
Yeah. How about the trip to Kampala?
It was not Kampala, it was Entebbe.
What is it that you were going for when you facilitated them?
Pardon?
What were they going for when you facilitated them?
They must have been, that was their own function. I don't know what they were going for.
But how could the executive...
It was an official communication made from the speaker's desk.
But sir, how do you justify giving public funds to a body which is supposed to be independent of your office and you don't have the reason? If you were to go into an audit,
no, there was the reason.
But you don't know what it is.
There was a reason given by the speaker. It's only that it's a long time. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have to take a break now. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV, and today's guest is Governor Cornell Rasanga of Siaya County. We're talking politics and development of the county. Our SMS number is 22422, or you can tweet us using the hashtag Cheche.